Dr. Shalette Ashman. Welcome to Profile.
Thank you for having me, Archibald.
All right, so you have many kind of roles. I don't want to get them wrong. So an author, a motivational speaker, educational technologist, we'll get a little bit into what that means, entrepreneur and CEO of the Learning Hub, and also extremely accomplished academically, a Bachelor of Science degree, a Master's, an MBA, and EDS. This is the first time I was hearing about that. An educational specialist, that's an EDS, a PhD, and you've written a series of books capturing your journey, one in particular called Limitless. And I thought, when I read Limitless, I thought, how do you characterize the kind of journey you've had in 3 words? What would you say? Very
interesting. Well, that's 2, but yeah, very interesting.
Why would you say that? Why would you say very interesting?
Because when I look at my life, and I look at the hand that I was given, right? I don't think that characterizes someone who would be really successful. I mean, I grew up in Grantspen. I was born in Grantspen. I used to sell in the markets in Grantspen. I mean, I really grew up very poor. I mean, I know people love to talk about how poor they grew up, but without electricity, without running water, and many a days, you know, I just asked my mother, you know, when we moved from Grantspen to Stone Hill, just for the bus fare to go to school. That was how bad it was.
But your mother was working in Grantspen. You also grew up raised partly by your grandparents as well.
Yes. So when my mother lived in Grantspen, so I was born in Grantspen, and then my mother sent me to the country to live with my grandmother so that she could get situated. Now, when she was situated, she actually sent for me from the country. Well, it's for us because it was just me and my siblings and I, and then we came to live with her and my dad in Grantspen. So yeah, I spent a part of my life with my grandmother and grandfather in the country.
Now, growing up, you say right now you're talking about and reflecting on the difficult circumstances. As a child, did you understand that? Did you understand yourself to be, you know, poor, or was it you're just going around?
Honestly, you never really think about your life as being, I never really thought about my life as being poor. I knew we had challenges, yes, because we didn't have things that other people had. But I mean, it was our life. And one of the things that I think characterizes me is that I will satisfy. So my mom and I, you know, I talk about it in Limitless. We are best friends to this day. My mom has always been my best friend from the first day I met her. So, I mean, she would explain to us what the situation is. So if she had $10 or whatever it was, and she would explain, okay, this is what I can afford. So 1 chicken would serve us for the entire week, because on a Saturday, she's going to make soup. On a Sunday, she's going to stretch it with something else. And that was how it was. So, you know, I mean, I really understood what was going on, and I was able to work with it. So, you know, I talk about going to high school and just asking for the bus fare, because what I did was I joined the track team. I was the fastest person in my school in terms of long distance. As a matter of fact, there was a year when I was top person for zone 6. 800 meter, 1500. So I got lunch when I joined the track team. And then after track season, I would join the netball team because I got free lunch as well. So I was always working with my mom to, you know, to make things work.
That sense of determination, it comes from your mother? Or it comes from your mother, also your grandmother as well?
I think my sense of this determination and entrepreneurship came from my parents, my father as well, because my father, he washed cars for a living, right? So he got up one day and he just went to Guinness and he just started washing cars. So he started washing the manager's cars, and you know, they liked him. He was very honest. So he would clean out the inside of the cars, and then he got 2 men to wash the outside. So he started a business out of just going on the people's premises to wash cars. I mean, and he was there for 20 odd years. When he retired, he even got some money from the company. So I think I saw my dad doing that. And of course, my parents, they had a farm. It's a ground where they farmed and they had ground provision like yam and cane and that kind of thing. I was the person who sold those for them. So, I mean, from I was small, I had that sense of entrepreneurship. I used to love selling callaloo. So my mother would box me up with the callaloos. And if she gave me 10 bundles of callaloo, I would just pull them out. I would make 15. 10 was, 10, the money for 10 would go to her and the rest would go to me. I mean, in the nights, I would sell sugarcane at the dances, and then the next morning I'm at Merle Grove, my homework is done, I'm ready for track team. So, I mean, from I was a child, you know, that sense of go-getting and, you know, understanding what life was about was in me.
And were the parents also reinforcing that in terms of the things they were saying to you?
Yes.
Because they were working hard, but what were they saying to you as well?
My mother was a domestic helper, and she always emphasized the importance of education. So, I mean, even though she didn't have any degree or anything, she always told us that education was a tool, was a vehicle that would take us out of poverty. She believed that, and I'm living testament.
So you have these parents who are determined.
Yes.
They're doing everything that they can, but they're also showing you, both in terms of they're showing you by example, they're also speaking to you about what it takes to go further, what it takes to navigate life and these kind of challenges. And you as a young child were also meeting different kinds of challenges as well. Because, and this is a story you also share in Limitless, one of the, perhaps I would say, most significant challenges, if not the most significant challenge, is that as a young child, you also suffered through sexual abuse. You were raped at a very young age. And you talk about this in the book. First of all, why share this kind of story?
Oh, because, I mean, I am not unique in that regard. I mean, there are a lot of persons out there. I mean, I got raped at 6, and that's unfortunate, But there are a lot of persons out there who this has happened to. And the fact of the matter is, when bad things happen to you, it doesn't mean that it should characterize your life. It doesn't mean that you should give up. It doesn't mean that it should make you who you are. That the rape didn't define me. That is something bad that happened to me. And, you can overcome. So I like to share my stories so that persons who are going through the same thing can know, listen, I can rise above this. If Shalette did it, then I can do it too. So
what kind of impact did it have on your life at the same time?
Well, to be honest, that made me very, 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 very careful, So I'm very careful. As a matter of fact, I got married at 23, I think it was. I was married for 20 years. But I live in my head, a very sheltered life in my own mind because I did not like what happened to me at a young age and the consequences of that, which I spoke of in the book.
All right. I want to talk a little bit about the educational route at the same time. I talked about the fact that you're very, very accomplished. You talked about the impact that your parents have had on that. So you're going through school, dealing with different kind of challenges at the same time. Also behavioral problems as well, which you write about in Limitless.
Yes.
You're a fighter.
Yes, I was.
What was happening?
Well, I encourage all children out there not to fight, okay? But yes, I was a fighter because living in Grants Pen, I talk about a story in my book. Children would tease you. And for me, just standing up for myself and fighting was my way of pushing back, right? Of course, that is not the way, but yeah, that's what I used to do until somebody really gave me a good thrashing. So yes, I would fight a lot. But yeah, that's not the way to go.
I want to talk a little bit about the educational route and how you buckled down and did a lot of different kind of things over the course of your life. But we have to go to the break. We're back with you on the other side of these messages.